Okay, so this is our personnel budget, which also has many different departments attached to it. The 1430 department is our personnel department proper, though. So again, you have salary lines. They are also portioned out across general water and sewer, 60, 30, and 10% for that allocation. There's an amount in for overtime, for longevity, sick pay incentive, in lieu of vacation. We have our contractual amounts in here. This is for temporary part-time help for that office. Telephone and internet seems quite in line. Printing and postage, office and supplies, maintenance and repair, small amount for professional dues and meetings. Under training school education is where we're authorizing an additional amount. We have an amount of 4,000 in for general annual training, like the harassment training, workplace violence, and assorted one-day seminars. Plus, we have an additional amount in for management training, customer service training at the department level, all that good stuff. So that is the
That's been a big leap last year.
Last year we had an additional amount in there as well.
Yeah. So do you know why we added $17,000 to that previously very tiny budget?
Well, I'm not sure. I'd have to go look at this, because if it was a modified budget amount, that's what's showing here. I think it's normally 4,000 for the budget, and then we did an additional 15,000, and that was for the increased amount of training
that the personnel staff is receiving. Is that what
no, this is village-wide.
The village is paying for any employees.
Yes.
Village-wide.
Yep.
That's how
Village-wide.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yes.
No misunderstanding. Thank you.
Yes. So that is it for the 1430 department. 1431 is our safety department. So we have a line in there for telephone, internet, office supplies and expense. This is where we have our lines for the uniforms for the employees. So that's the safety and high visibility t-shirts. This year, coming up, we will have jackets because it's a contractual item every 2 years. So that is showing in this line. We have
Dale, sorry, quick question. Yep. Go back into the first line, I guess, on that page. So no, up one more. No, keep up right there.
This one?
So, correct.
Uh-huh.
So
I'll let you ask your question, but go ahead.
No, you were going to answer my question, so go ahead and answer the question.
We used to break out a portion of the personnel manager's salary to this line, this department as well as in previous years. We also had a piece of Paul here. We had a piece of Andy here. It just going along in the years didn't make sense to keep breaking them out into so many different areas of stuff. So we started to eliminate and just go with the 1430 budget starting for 2020.
Got it. No problem. Thank you.
Sorry.
It's okay. Thanks.
Okay.
So it's a bookkeeping change, not an actual dollar.
Right. Yes. Yes. Correct. Where were we? We did uniforms, and then the 5,000 is here for training. This is for mandated pest training for 60 employees, hazmat, and additional other training. That one of them is bloodborne pathogens. So that keep us all safe. Everybody gets trained.
It says in the detail breakout, it says PPE, and I see that we went over our budget this year. Is this the line where we're paying for masks and anything else that is related to COVID protection?
I actually charged it here because this is NIMS emergency management. That's the 7,067.82 expense. Because this amount, along with other amounts charged by other departments, is going into our FEMA reimbursement
Good. Okay.
application. Yes. Yes. Which,
Do you know why? Okay. It's just the PESH training was over 7,000, over 7,700 this year, which is more than I guess we budgeted. Am I looking at the right year? I'm looking
this
at
was, yeah.
2019. For 2020, we have 0 so far.
Maddie, are we still doing that training? Or is that one?
So, yeah, I'm sorry. So we're doing 2 trainings in the next couple of weeks. And then I have been trying to work with CSEA to try to figure out how we're gonna shoehorn in a lot of those trainings for this year. So it's something that I'll be speaking to the new personnel director about. But depending on what department, it's mostly folks who are in DPW, sanitation, water, and parks, and they all sort of get a different recipe of the different trainings that they need, on how to use their PPE, respiratory, hearing, a whole bunch of different things. So we're going to try to get as much of it done in 2020 as possible, but we already have our dates scheduled for 2021.
Okay, thanks.
Great. And then we have 3,000, which is for OSHA required vaccines. It also says PPE, but it says gloves, hard hats, first aid supplies, hearing protection, air monitor calibration, and respirator cartridges. The next department is 9040. So now we're going into our employee benefits section. So this is our workers' comp lines. And it's going to show for an actual amount because we fully encumber the anticipated amount at the beginning of the year. So this is not the actual amount that will be shown at the end of the year. But just because of the purchase order encumbrance, it does take the whole account and holds the money so that it's not expended. And you're going to see that as we go along. 9050 is our unemployment insurance. We will be getting 50% of this back through the CARES Act. And a good thing that came through that our unemployment insurance actually went down 50% for the month of October. So that's definitely a good sign. Our 9060 department is for our medical insurance and dental insurance. And also life insurance gets charged here. When we did get the second pass through for our health insurance, there was an increase. Basically, it was almost 12% on the premium equivalent amount. So we did increase our recommended budget to take into account the anticipated increase. And you're going to see that in all of these lines also have a mirroring line in water and sewer. I'm going to have to clean that department up because we do not break it out over here. We do just keep it in the 9060 account. And now we're on to the water portion of safety. So we have a uniform line just like we had in the general fund, an additional training line, not only for people that cross over and can work, as a general fund employee, but also as a water fund employee. Then we also have our water department employees proper for their specific training as well. an amount for NIMS emergency management and OSHA compliance. Here is our matching water fund line for 9040, which is our workers' compensation. Matching 9050 department for unemployment. Matching 9060 department for our health insurance and dental and life. We are not using that department 9070 and 9080 because it's going into the 9060 department. And that leads us into the sewer fund. So just like general and water, we have a matching uniform line, training, school and education line, NIMS emergency management and OSHA compliance lines. Here's our workers' compensation for the sewer fund.
Hey, Dale,
Yeah,
what happens to all these monies for training and some of the other stuff that because of the pandemic, we didn't really do a lot of training? What happens to all that money from 2020?
it will revert back to fund balance. Any expenditure amount, any revenue over the expenditures at the end of the year will create an increase to our fund balance. So, and we'll get into that, I think a little more in our open discussion.
Okay.
But doing a projection of where we are and how we believe we will end up at the end of 2020, it seems that we will put about a little over 600,000 back into fund balance potentially at the end of the year. I mean, we still have a ways to go, you know, but it is a projection.
Yeah, none of that happened though. Like, you know, this year everything went online and a lot of the stuff. So all the associated expenses, any travel, I was sort of going back to
Right.
the education.
Mhm.
So the conferences and education without travel or anything must have saved us quite a few dollars.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
So it just goes into the general fund balance.
General fund, water fund, or sewer fund, depending on which fund it was budgeted in, but yes. As
Okay,
long as there wasn't an offsetting reduction in the revenue that then ate up that savings.
got it.
So this is the end of the sewer fund. We have a small amount in for Section 8 as well, which mirrors the employees working there. So 9060, that's the health insurance line. This shouldn't fall off. And that is it for the health insurance and workers' comp and all the employee benefits section for all the funds. So now we're on to the revenue page. Insurance recoveries, I bumped up a little bit in response to stop loss reimbursements that have been coming back. So that's increased a little bit from prior years. Our Medicare reimbursement for Part D, that submission happens later in the year, so we will be booking a receivable eventually for those funds, and that's the same for water and sewer. And that completes the personnel budget. Any questions on that?